Green cards in 2025. Two powerful pathways, still open despite new restrictions. If you're navigating the complex world of green cards in 2025, you know things have gotten tougher with recent policy changes. But today, we have some good news. There's still two powerful pathways to a green card that remain largely untouched by current administration directives. We're talking about options that can protect you, forgive past immigration issues, and put you on a fast track to permanent residency and even citizenship. In this video, we'll break down what these two green cards are, who qualifies, their benefits, and the latest updates as of August 2025. Remember, this isn't legal advice. Always consult a qualified immigration attorney for your specific situation. Let's dive in. Why are green cards under scrutiny in 2025? First, a quick context. Since the start of the second Trump term in January 2025, executive orders like EO-14159 have ramped up reviews of millions of visa holders and targeted categories like family-based and marriage-based green cards for more denials, delays, and court referrals. Asylum cases are facing higher fees, longer backlogs up to 15 to 20 years in some cases, and increased detentions. Even programs like EB-1A for extraordinary ability or EB-5 investor visas are options, but they're limited to a small group of applicants. But amidst these changes, two pathways stand out as resilient: the T visa for victims of human trafficking and the VAWA self-petition for survivors of domestic abuse. These aren't being targeted in the same way, making them viable for many who might not realize they qualify. Let's explore each one, starting with the T visa. This is designed for individuals who've been victims of severe forms of human trafficking. That could include being forced into labor or services through threats, coercion, or abuse, things like an employer underpaying you, restricting your movements, or threatening to report you to immigration authorities. Key benefits include a path to a green card in less than 5 years, work authorization, a social security card, and the ability to travel, protection for your spouse and children, forgiveness for issues like unlawful entry or past fraud, no need to leave the U.S. during the process, and unlike the similar U visa, you don't always need police certification. Who qualifies? If you experience control, isolation, or punishment in a work situation, even without extreme physical harm, you might be eligible. And here's an update. As of mid-2025, T visa approvals are still processing steadily, with no reported policy shifts affecting them, despite broader crackdowns on other humanitarian visas. VAWA, Protection for Abuse Survivors. Next up is VAWA, which stands for the Violence Against Women Act, though it applies to men, women, and children alike. This self-petition allows you to apply for a green card without relying on an abusive sponsor if you've been emotionally or physically harmed by a U.S. citizen or green card holder relative, such as a spouse, parent, or child over 21. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Undocumented immigrants. U.S. immigrant population declines. Under Trump, U.S. immigrant population declines for the first time in 6 decades. For the first time in over 60 years, the United States is witnessing a decline in its immigrant population, a shift largely tied to former President Donald Trump's aggressive immigration policies. After decades of steady growth, the immigrant population peaked at 53.3 million in January 2025, representing 15.8% of the U.S. population. But by June, that number fell to 51.9 million, or 15.4%, marking a rare reversal. Record numbers, then a decline. According to the Pew Research Center, the undocumented immigrant population surged to 14 million in 2023, the highest on record, following an increase of 3.5 million over 2 years. Yet, despite this surge, the overall immigrant population began to shrink in 2024 and 2025. Analysts credit stricter enforcement, falling asylum claims, and changing migration patterns for this downturn. Interestingly, Pew's research found that over 40% of undocumented immigrants in 2023 actually held temporary protections or work authorizations, shielding them from immediate deportation. This highlights the complexity of the immigrant population. Many unauthorized residents had some legal foothold that allowed them to remain and work. Policy shifts and mass deportations. The turning point came with a series of policy changes. In June 2024, then President Joe Biden introduced new asylum restrictions that sharply reduced border encounters. When Trump returned to office in January 2025, he wasted no time, issuing 181 executive actions within his first 100 days. These measures tightened asylum access, expanded arrests, and accelerated deportations. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced in August 2025 that 1.6 million undocumented immigrants had left the country since January, calling the exodus massive. She claimed this would ease pressure on schools, hospitals, and job markets, though official DHS data has not confirmed the exact figure. Impact on the U.S. workforce. The labor market has felt the ripple effects. In 2023, nearly 9.7 million undocumented immigrants were part of the workforce, accounting for about 5.6% of all U.S. workers. By mid-2025, that number had declined significantly, contributing to a drop in immigrant participation overall from 20% of the workforce in January to 19% in June. Industries most affected include construction, agriculture, and hospitality sectors heavily reliant on immigrant labor. Employers in these fields have raised concerns about labor shortages, but Trump has yet to introduce targeted solutions. ICE raids remain frequent, further discouraging undocumented workers, where undocumented immigrants reside. Despite the national decline, immigrant populations remain concentrated in familiar states. California leads with 2.3 million undocumented immigrants, followed by Texas, 2.1 million, and Florida, 1.6 million. States such as Florida, Texas, and New York saw the largest recent increases, though some states, including California and Arizona, now host fewer undocumented residents compared to their 2007 peaks. That is all for today in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later in the next video. Till then, take care.
Green cards in 2025, two powerful pathways still open despite new restriction, and under Trump, U.S. immigrant population declines for the first time in 6 decades. In 2025, immigration policies under Trump's second term have a tightened voting family base and merit-based green card under intense scrutiny, while asylum cases face soaring fees, delays of up to 20 years, and increased detentions. Even EB-1A and EB-5 remain out of reach for most applicants. Yet two powerful green card pathways remain resilient: the T visa for victims of human trafficking and the VAWA, self-detention for survivors of domestic abuse. The T visa offers work authorization, social security travel rights, protection for family members, and forgiveness for past immigration violations, without requiring departure from the U.S. Unlike the U visa, police certification is not always needed, and approvals continue steadily in 2025. VAWA enables abuse survivors, men, women, or children related to U.S. citizens or permanent residents to self-detention without relying on an abusive sponsor. Meanwhile, immigrant population trends show a rate decline, with the mass depression, labor shortages in agriculture and construction, and workforce participation dropping as enforcement intensifies nationwide.